Legend of Total War here, and today I've got a couple of things to go over. So I've actually been away for the past week. I've been spending time with family. It's been great. And I basically decided to just turn off the internet, didn't go on Discord, didn't go on my emails, didn't go on anything, and just block all that out for a week and just spend time with family. And that was really good. Anyway, came back today, logged back on, and it was fine. It wasn't too bad. I was kind of expecting everything to be on fire, but no, it wasn't, so that was great. A few things to cover, not all of it positive, but some of them are, so that's great. Anyway, so first thing is the patch 6.3.2. That came out, seems like about 4 days ago, and I decided to load up this save file, which I showcased a couple of weeks ago, initially with the bug. So this showcased the Lizardman doing nothing, playing on legendary difficulty as Clan Pestilence. So this campaign was started on 6.3.1, but I've updated the game to 6.3.2. I just wanted to play through a couple of turns here and see what happens with the AI. Now I also acknowledge that this is a very small sample size, and I'm sure that to get the full effect of the patch, you probably have to start a new campaign. So if you guys who have played campaigns in this area or around Lizardman want to post your experience with that in the comments, letting people know whether or not you think that they're still brain dead or they're behaving about as well as other factions that weren't brain dead before. But, you know, not smart. None of them are particularly clever. But yeah, having a larger sample size would be very helpful. So we can see here that Tohenowin didn't do anything, but Gorok, this is the first time in this campaign that he's actually started recruiting. Same thing with Oxyodal. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is basically their turn 1 strat, which is take out your initial enemy, sit in your capital, and just recruit a sizable army before you take out the rest of them. And I think that might be what they're doing. Let's hit end turn again and just see. But it's interesting how it seems that Gorok and Oxyodal have activated, but Tohenowin hasn't. So maybe something to do with Tohenowin has remained kind of busted. It might be because he's already at war with me. I don't know. But he's also not moving out here to attack these undefended settlements. I'll put these in ambush stance and see if that makes any difference. He might not be moving out because he anticipates that I would move towards him. But if I put them in ambush stance, he shouldn't be able to detect them. I don't want any distractions. If you could just not do anything, that would be great. So put these in ambush stance here so that he doesn't see them. They shouldn't get detected. They're too far away from anyone else. We can see, yeah, Gorok probably doing multi-turn order of recruitment. Yeah, okay, let's move on to another turn and we'll see if Tohenowin activates now. But yeah, I fully recognize that it could just be busted on the save game level and have to start a new campaign in order to awaken Tohenowin. But I was just curious, because a lot of the times patches work on existing campaigns. Not all the time though, especially if you've got mods on, which we don't have. Alright, Tohenowin once again didn't do anything, but Gorok got his... Yeah, he was recruiting globally and locally. Multi-turn units. Went from, what, 10 to 17 straight away there. And that's not Oxyodal. Oxyodal probably went out this way. Yeah, so he's moving on to go and attack out this way. Alright, that is good. So, yeah, 2 out of 3 is better than 0 out of 3. But yeah, I'd really be curious to hear what you guys have to say about this patch. But it definitely seems like an improvement. And an improvement is a step in the right direction. So, good job, Creative Assembly, I guess. But, you know, you guys let me know whether you're satisfied or unsatisfied or whatever. Make your opinions heard, and whichever way that you feel is completely valid about the state of the game. You know, if you think the game is in a great state, valid. If you think it's in dog shit state, also valid. I think this whole attacking everyone because we have differing opinions about the state of the game is pretty pathetic. It's only a small number of people that are doing it, but it gets in the way of it, that's all. Anyway, so let's go through these blogs here now. So this one here, there's not much to go through. I'll post all of these with links in the description if you want to check them out. I imagine most of you guys already read this. Is 4 days old. This is just covering old stuff here. Very small blog. It was just letting people know that the patch is coming. And this one here is the bigger one, and it's to do with the Tides of Torment as well. So in numbered points here, in case you missed it, hotfix 6.3.2 is now available. We're pleased to see that it's delivered its goal of restoring Lizardman and Tomb King campaign AI back to expected level of behavior. We've been monitoring its release closely and will continue to do so in the weeks ahead. Cool, that sounds fine to me, but you guys let me know if that's acceptable to you. There are outstanding campaign AI issues that we need to address for Beastmen, Chaos Dwarf, Golg, and the Changeling. We don't have an update or timeline, but they are being prioritized. Probably smart for them not to provide a timeline. I mean, these things are, you know, they could take a day, a week, a month to fix. You just never know. And if you give a promise, be like, we're going to fix it in a week, and then it ends up taking longer than a week, yeah, people get annoyed. So I understand this statement here. That's what you kind of have to do. That's fine. Delivering this hotfix isn't the end of our focus in this area. We're sorry that the game entered this state. No, hang on. Let me just get through the whole thing before I start nitpicking. We recognize the issue, but we didn't appropriately prioritize it, and on initial assessment, had planned to include it in the fixed part of 7.0. What we have changed is to reduce the chance of this happening in future. Sorry, what have we changed to reduce the chance of this happening in future? We have reclassified issues of this nature as showstopper severity 8. This is just internal jargon. Whatever. Which means any similar future problems are blockers to full release and will always require us to respond with urgent hotfix measures. The thing that I have with this is that this is all just words, and Creative Assembly are very good at just giving out apologies that are seemingly empty. Because we had the apology with 2023, we had the we're so sorry stuff, and we've had the we're so sorry so many times now. I'm just curious with you guys, how many of you are like, yeah, this is the last time it's going to happen. They said it's going to be the last time this happened. It won't happen again, guys. It's smooth sailing from here, guys. And how many of you are like, yeah, right. It's like maybe 1 or 2 years until the next colossal shitstorm, which is where I would fall under. But yeah, there's apparently going to be another hotfix as well, 6.3.3. I imagine that might have something to do with this. And the DLC has been delayed for more than a month. We didn't have the exact release date in October. They just said late October. So that would mean October 32nd at 11:61 p.m. But legend, that day doesn't exist. You know what I mean. So now it's got a definite date of December 4th. There's always a possibility it could get delayed again. It's nearly a full year from Omens of Destruction, which that's crazy to think about it, considering there's no other game really getting any development. But, you know, they've had a lot of sales out for their older catalog, so maybe that's keeping the lights on. I don't know. I don't have their financials, but it's crazy boring year this has been. Anyway, but yeah, moving the DLC back to there. So they've also announced the FLC Lord, which is the Mask of Slaanesh. Now, I think I did a prediction a while back, and I got, I think, 3 out of 4 of them correct. I think the only one I got wrong was Sail the Faithless. I predicted Striggleberger. I can't remember his name. And I was wrong about that one. But I think I guessed the other ones. D'Chala, or D'Cala, I don't know how it's pronounced, and Sea Lord Aisling, and the Mask as the FLC Lord. I also predicted the the Legendary Heroes, but those haven't been announced yet, which we'll find out eventually. So they've got new content about it coming out November 6th. That's 2 weeks away. Boy, padding this one out, stretching it a fair bit. But, you know, in my opinion, the game's got to be in a playable state before they can even start doing this kind of stuff. And I think that that's what they're focusing on now as well, which seems good to me. But, you know, you guys let me know. You know, I may be in the minority opinion with that. Who knows? Okay, so now we'll move on to some stuff that's a little bit negative, and then there's some more positive stuff. So, unfortunately, we're returning to Lawmaster of Sotek's refusal to just give up on this crap, right? This is like the weirdest case of doubling down that I have ever seen anyone do. So, I was not having beef with Sotek. I did not care that much, really, about the tweet, which is this one here. People are still going on about it, and he's losing... I've noticed he's lost quite a few hundred subscribers. I haven't, by the way. But around this tweet here, which this was perhaps the most ridiculous take on anything that I've ever seen in this community. Even the most cynical take should not have come to this conclusion whatsoever. And after he tweeted this, I tweeted out as well, be like, oh, that's not what I meant. This is what I meant instead. I tried to correct myself. And unfortunately, he has not addressed that whatsoever, which, that's fine. If he doesn't want to do it, I don't consider it a big deal. But he keeps opening it back up with this here. And again, sometimes when you're in a hole, you got to stop digging. And boy, he is digging himself a hole here. And I'm only bringing this up because everybody else is already bringing it up anyway. Like, I got home from my holiday, and half my messages were about this. Like, I didn't even have to go looking for it. People were like, have you seen what Sartek said? Have you seen what Sartek said? I'm just like, no, I just go back. So I looked at it, I was like, I'm not even mad. This is just dumb. So let's just watch this. I'll link it in the description. So that way, if you think I'm taking it out of context, you can go watch it and see whether or not I am. Because if I am taking it out of context, call me out on it. But I don't think I am. But call me out on it if I am.
All right. I'm going to be really blunt with you guys about this as we go into it. I have been criticized very heavily lately for enjoying things and being a guy that likes things and having fun. And to that I say, fuck that. The things that I hope, the thing that I've built my brand around that makes you all excited to come here is that I love Warhammer. I love it. I love it in all shapes and forms that it comes in. And I can have a blast and get super fucking excited and lose my shit over things that most people are mildly amused by.
Okay. The last part of that is completely correct. That is why we like Sotek. He is very joyful and happy about Warhammer. Was he being criticized for enjoying things? I didn't see any of that. Maybe 1 in 1,000 people were criticizing him for that. The vast, overwhelming amount of criticism he was getting had nothing to do with him enjoying the game whatsoever. And he knows that, because everybody is making it very clear to him that that's not why they're criticizing him. They're criticizing him pretty clearly for behaving in extremely bad faith. So the thing to keep in mind here is that the people that are criticizing Creative Assembly, or were doing it, also really love the game. They wanted the game to have a playable AI. Now, I'm of the opinion that if Sotek wanted to just get more content and didn't care about these bugs, that is a perfectly valid opinion. I don't care. There are plenty of other YouTubers that did not get involved in this whatsoever. They didn't say bibbly boop about it. They just minded their own business, and who knows what their actual opinion was. They didn't say anything. But Sotek said some stuff, and the way that he characterized a lot of the criticism was straw manning. It took it out of context and lumped everyone in the same category, and then started attacking that, and that makes it difficult for us to get the point across if we're having to deal with our own community coming after us. Now, the thing is, if you don't care about the game being in a better state and you only care about content, that's fine. I think everybody should be allowed to have their opinions heard no matter what. And I fully support Sotek's right to have said that. But you got to act in good faith, and you didn't do that. You didn't do that here, and you didn't do that in any of your other videos. And now what you're doing here is you're getting criticized, and you're taking what you're not being criticized for and making it out like you are being criticized for it. The vast majority of people, like 99.9%, you're always going to get some degree of complete asinine idiots. You can't be including them as the main focal point. They don't care if you love the game. They probably love the game to a degree as much as you do. Probably not as much. But when you act in such bad faith, like, this is kind of ridiculous now. I'm actually kind of, like, I'm not mad at Sotek, because I'm not the one losing hundreds of subscribers. He is. And the reason why I bring this up is to kick him in the ass a little bit. Be like, dude, what are you doing to yourself? Plenty of people in your comments are already calling you out on it. And I just feel like I gotta kick you. These are your options. These are your best options. Either A, shut the fuck up. Just let it go. You'll stop losing subscribers, and people will forget about it. But you keep bringing this stuff back up, you're not going to win. This is such an obvious L that you can't just talk your way out of this one. There is no degree of manipulating your own audience that's going to work on this because you're so vastly acted in bad faith. It's not going to work. So that's first option, shut the fuck up. Second option is take accountability. Really quickly, it doesn't have to be anything major. Like, with this tweet here, I responded to this tweet to try to clarify things, didn't respond to it, pretended like it didn't exist. And you said here, so I want to be sure to understand it. But you haven't demonstrated that whatsoever. And then you flipped out at the very end of it. This is a large portion of what people are criticizing you for. And then also you're getting criticized for your previous takes where you're taking other people's arguments in bad faith. It's just a lot of the same behavior over and over again. And the more that you do this, the more that you're going to dig yourself into a hole, you're not going to come out on top. It's only going to end badly for you. So those are your two options. Your third option, which we're currently doing, is just keep doubling down. Double down. Keep on digging. I feel like you've been getting your PR training from Creative Assembly because this is straight out of a play from their book. Not a good idea. They're very bad with this kind of stuff because it feels like, yeah, you're getting advice from Creative Assembly with this kind of stuff. So pick one of those two options and go with that. Either shut the fuck up or just address it really quickly. Say, whoops, my bad, I didn't understand, whatever. And then we can just fucking move on and just forget about it. Because at the end of the day, the patch came out. You're still going to get your DLC. Yeah, everybody kind of wins. We just don't need to keep doing this anymore. And, you know, if we could be friends, that's great. If you can't be friends about it, whatever. I don't have any more energy to spend on this kind of crap. I personally find it, when I saw this, I found it so fucking hilarious. I burst out laughing when I saw it. I was like, nobody's going to fucking believe this that has any idea of what actually happened. But whatever. You do whatever you want to do. That's my advice. One thing I will point out is when I had my spat with Pixelated Apollo earlier this year, you know, went in hard on him. And he took accountability, and he and I are on good speaking terms. We speak all the time. We're friends. You know, it's just water under the bridge. That is, I think, the adult, mature way to handle it. And I'd love for that to happen with Sotek. I'd love to remain friends with him. But that doesn't seem like that's what he wants with this. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, no one's going to believe this shit. But anyway, let's just move on. Now, on the other hand, we've got Blake's take. Doing a really good job here. So I want to give a big shout out to him with this particular video here, Blake's Bug Waitlist. If you haven't subscribed to Blake's Take, do so. Chuck him a like, chuck him a subscribe. This video here, he is addressing some of the bugs that other people have mentioned to him, and he is bringing them to light, demonstrating how they're bugs, how they're affecting the game in certain ways. Many of them I had no idea about because it affects co-op, but that seems to be important. Some people got the game just to play co-op, and now they don't want to play co-op because of certain bugs. Seems like CA should fix it. And you know, they put tickets in. Anyway, the video goes in on it. I don't want to steal all the thunder from the video. This is a very good video, and it's a very different way that I would handle it. You know, my way of doing things, it works for me, but not everyone's going to want to do it. I'm a bull in a china shop. When I get going, I just fucking tear everything down. That works for me. That's the only way I know how. It has worked in the past, and I've tried this method to some degree, and it just never worked. But I can really appreciate someone else attempting to do this, and I think if more other YouTubers did more of this stuff, it would actually be more impactful than me, you know, bringing up the mob and causing the massive review storms, or at least being a catalyst for it. I'm not going to take credit for it, but whatever. Whoever wants to take credit for it, I don't care. But yeah, this is the kind of really good behavior, and there's a lot of really funny jokes in here as well. I think Blake is a very funny guy. Really good way. So this is someone that I would recommend as a community leader if he wants to be, you know, going forward. I know Lionheart is doing something along these lines as well. That's great as well. You know, go and subscribe to Lionheart if you haven't already. Many of you guys should already be aware of Lionheart. If there are any more people doing this kind of stuff, let me know so I can give them a shout out. I know that Cultist of Corn is also doing a lot of pointing out to a lot of the issues in the game. He's very good at Total War Warhammer, so he's someone else that I would point to go to when these issues arise, because they will arise, and there's someone that these are people that care about the state of the game and care about the state of the community, not just caring about their own issues. And unfortunately, and I really wish I could say otherwise, right now I cannot recommend you going to SoTech and being like, he's your guy, he's gonna fight for the community. Unfortunately, it does not seem like that's the case at this stage here. I'd love to be able to make another video a couple of days from now saying, hey, SoTech and I, we sorted it out, all good. That'd be great. We'll see how we go with that. But yeah, if anything was to go by the way things that went down with me and Pixelated Apollo, I mean, me and Pixelated Apollo, we're good friends. As we went back to normal, we had a little bit of a spat, and it was good. Now things are good. I mean, so that's great. And he recovered all the subscribers that he lost really bloody quickly, and he's doing better than ever. So that's what I would like to see for SoTech. I want to see him regain the trust of the community that lost his trust in him, and regain the subs that he's lost. I wish him nothing but the best, but you can't be doing this shit. No one's gonna buy it. I don't need to sit here and say this stuff. You guys have already seen it, and many of you guys have already posted on his video and stuff that you don't believe him. I mean, just look at the fucking ratio on this. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't think I've ever seen someone get ratioed by their own audience by like 100, maybe 98% to this extent. This is utterly ridiculous, but you know, that's what's happened. Anyway, and if you don't believe me, just there'll be links to all this stuff. Go check it out for yourself, and you'll see. But anyway, that's the end of this one here, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying the game. The game seems to be in a much better state, which is great. Let me know what content you'd like to see from me in future. There'll possibly be a live stream tomorrow. I'm looking forward to chatting with you guys. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. Later, guys.